Alright, this is a no bullshit video for the guys out there that are looking to grow their dick. Now, there is a lot, and I mean an absolute shitload of false information on the internet with regards to growing the size of your dick. Whether it be on these porn sites where they sell dick pills that supposedly grow your Johnson 4 inches in a few months. We all know that's bullshit. If that was happening, we'd have all heard about it by now. So I think it stands to reason that's probably bollocks. But on the other side of the coin, you get these fucking doom and gloomers who say that there's absolutely nothing you can do about the size of your dick. You've got what you've got, and then that's it. If you've got a shit dick, you just got to suck it up, buttercup, and just have a suboptimal sex life. That's what a lot of people recommend. These fucking black pillars who are so negative. You know, oh yeah, I'm 5'6", my life's over. Oh yeah, I'm balding, my life's over. Oh, I've got a 3-inch dick, my life's over. So many negative little cunts. I hate that shit. But I don't blame them with regards to the dick thing, because there's so much false information. It's easy to just lose all touch with what's true out there, to be honest. Now, basically, even if you have no money to invest in this shit, you can still grow your dick using 2 techniques that I have tried, and that would be jelking and stretching. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did a bit of jelking a few years ago, where you basically form a supinated grip around your Johnson. You kind of create a fulcrum around it, and then you basically milk it with the intent of basically making your dick go through mitosis and grow over the period of God knows how long. I was not patient enough or disciplined or mentally resilient enough to have ever stuck with that shit. It just takes too long and it's too fucking boring. I was never ever gonna do that, especially because my problem wasn't particularly urgent. You know, I did certainly have some insecurities about this shit though. When I lost my virginity, I was 19, and I basically lost it to this fat Indian girl on a night out. And I was wanking to a lot of high-speed internet pornography at the time. And I had a really hairy dick. Like, it was like a jungle. So I had a really hairy Johnson. I was looking at all this porn. I wasn't attracted to the girl. I was drunk and nervous. It was my first time. I did not expect to get any pussy that night. And my first lay was a fucking disaster, an absolute unmitigated disaster. And basically, I couldn't get hard when I was fucking this girl, or trying to anyway. And at one point, she asked me something that really stuck out. Bearing in mind, this is the first time I've ever tried to fuck a woman. She basically asked me, "Is it in?"
Oh my God. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
She asked me, "Is it in?" And I basically told this to a guy that I was friends with at the time. And he was laughing about it and shit. And, you know, I understand. But he would always whenever we'd have a bit of banter and he would run out of something to say, he'd always just say, "Is it in? Ben, is it in?" Like, taking the piss. And I did have an element of sexual shame, most certainly, along with a whole other bunch of insecurities. But basically, I obviously got with a few more women after this. I don't regret that experience at all, because it kind of had to happen. I don't think as a man, at least in the world we live in today, really losing your virginity is not a big deal. I think it's just good to get it out of the way, personally. But the frustration did continue. especially with looking at all this porn. And my sex life was so fucking suboptimal. I'd be with a girl I really liked, and I'd be like afraid to pull out my dick because I wasn't proud of it. And like, there was a time a while later where I was on holiday in Greece, and I met this really sexy girl, probably the fittest girl that I'd ever been with at that moment in time. I was on the island of Crete, and she was from the city of Heraklion. She was Greek, she was sexy, she had the nicest ass I had ever seen on a woman in my life. Up until that point, it was tremendous. We went back to her apartment, and she said to me that we weren't gonna have sex that night. But when we were getting off, when we were kissing, my dick would obviously kind of like get like stiff. And I remember like, and this may be a bit embarrassing, but fuck it, just trying to tell the story. Basically, I remember my dick would kind of bulge against the shorts. And I remember, especially with how much porn I was looking at the time, it wasn't a full boner, like how ferocious a boner can be when you haven't had a wanking God knows how long. You know what I'm talking about. If you've ever gone on a good nofap streak, the difference is palpable. But I hadn't discovered any of that shit yet. And I remember basically pulling out my Johnson in front of this girl from Greece, the sexiest girl I'd ever been with up until that point by far. And I remember she saw my dick and she kind of like laughed a little bit, and she said, nice dick. And I remember thinking, that is not the response I want. When you pull out your dick in front of a woman, you want her to say, wow. What, you want her jaw to hit the floor. You want her to run out of superlatives, you know? And she just didn't do that. And again, the element of kind of sexual shame, the insecurities, the lack of sexual confidence, it just came back. And yeah, so obviously I tried the whole Jelkin thing. I tried a little bit of stretching, and it wasn't for me. I was never ever going to do something like that on a consistent basis. But basically, over the years went by, and I was on YouTube one day, and I stumbled upon this guy who later became a real mentor. Sorry if you can hear the fridge, it's fucking really annoying, but stumbled upon this guy who later became a real mentor, that being a guy called Chris from Good Looking Loser. This guy is a real hero to me, I ain't gonna lie to you. He's a cool motherfucker, and yeah, sadly his website has since been taken down, but one of the things that he really spoke about on the topic of male enhancement was this thing right here, the Bathmate. The Bathmate. Bro, this thing was a fucking game changer. This thing's been a game changer for me. For me, I do not come from money. I come from humble beginnings. For me to spend 220 Australian dollars on a penis pump really speaks to the level of belief that I have in this guy and in this thing right here, the Bathmate. Now, as opposed to jelking or stretching, where you have to do a dialed in daily routine for months on end to see any amount, if any, gains at all, with the Bathmate, once you have gotten over the initial stage of kind of familiarizing yourself with the controls, the release valve and what have you, and also more importantly, kind of getting your dick tissue used to just getting put in a high pressure vacuum like the Bathmate, I really don't think you will have ever felt as strong a pressure on your dick ever before. I know I certainly hadn't when I first started using this thing. That's why I wouldn't recommend going in there with a full boner, because you know, your dick isn't used to it, and realistically this is a marathon and not a sprint. no use breaking your dick when you're first getting started. I'd go in there with a chubby, or maybe even a little semi, but not with a full boner. Once you've gotten over this shit, however, and you're free to go in there with a full boner, one of the things that you need to do in order to get the proper, get the most amount of suction, and then in turn get the most amount of gains on your dick, one of the things you've got to do to get the most suction is to shave your pubes. Now, the thing is, if you are anything like me and you had a jungle going on downstairs, a hairy dick, hairy balls, hairy ass, bro, going from that to all of a sudden shaving that shit down and then going in the bath, mate, for 3 5-minute sessions, 15 minutes, bro, you will have never known that your dick can look, or you will have never seen your dick like that before. No way. There have been times, might I add, if I'm going on a night out, I'll sometimes go in there for 20 minutes, if not 25 minutes. And there have been times after doing that where I literally cannot believe how fat my dick is. And this is a thing, the bath, mate, whilst you will see some gains in length, I will 100% say that this thing is predominantly for girth. Now, that may not be what society would say is most important, but in my experience, when the rubber meets the road, the girth is what you fucking want. Unless your dick is really short, the girth is what actually kind of gets the best response out of women, in my experience. You know, unless you've got a dick that's, you know, sub 4 inches, realistically, say this is a vagina, yeah, and say this dick's 4 inches long. This isn't really, the length isn't a problem. The problem is that I'm not tickling the sides, and I'm not tickling all the nerves in the vagina. Whereas if you all of a sudden had like a decent amount of girth and you could get the proper bite on the vagina, and you know, when you're like kind of like when you're initially sticking your dick in, if you're actually kind of like tickling the insides and you're feeling the kind of pussy stretch to your dick, that is what actually, that's what's most important. Just trust me on that. Just trust me on that, okay? And this is a thing, even if you've got a small dick, you can, I really think, unless your dick is like a short pencil, you can get above average to well above average girth using the bath, mate. There isn't a single device on this earth or gelking technique known to man that can fuck with the bath, mate. I would say an hour gelking is equivalent to 15 minutes in the bath, mate. I would say so. If your dick is genuinely, if you've pumped 100%, all of the water out, can't pump anymore, and you're in there for 15 minutes, there isn't a gelking technique known to man that can fuck with that. No way. No fucking chance. And this stuff has really done wonders for me. I had never once received a compliment about the size of my dick, especially sending dick pics when my lanky legs would be in the frame. I never once got a compliment about that shit. On the website, they're offering a 2-month, 100% money back guarantee. If you've got any, if you have any problems with the bathmate after ordering it, or if it's not up to your liking, and I really would recommend trying this shit out if you're concerned about the size of your dick, because I can 100% say on my life, this thing has made a monumental change to my feelings about having sex. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, if you know that you've got a really fat dick and you can actually satisfy the girl that you're with, even if you never see this girl again, if you know in your heart of hearts that the next guy that comes after you doesn't have a dick that can hit the same spots that you can, that's sick. That's fucking class. And I really think if you've got an average or even below average sized dick, you can really get some fucking great results out of this. I think so. The guy who really got me into this shit, he says that he went from 5.2 inches to 7.2 inches using the Bathmate, and that's in length. He said that he got 2 inches, I think he said 2.5 inches in girth, and he had photos up on his website, and he had, no homo, but he had a really fat Johnson, eh? He had a fat Johnson. So, yeah. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. I would 100% recommend it. And as I said, if you don't like it, you can just return it and get all your money back. So you could theoretically use it for 55 days and then return it, get the gains from that, and then just return it anyway. So, but I really don't think you'll want to. I really don't think you want to. If you get laid in your time using the Bathmate, I really think that your experiences before and after will be chalk and cheese. There's no way, once I'd seen the gains from this thing and actually got laid a couple of times using it, there was no way I was going to return it. No way. So I'll leave the link in the bio and you can, make up your mind, okay?